Hello YouTube world, and my name is Tina, and today this is my very first YouTube video, but I recently finished my Walt Disney World scrapbooks. My husband and I went for like a 5-day in the park trip, and so we have 2 scrapbooks, which I know is like way extreme, but I kind of wanted to go through and just kind of show you some of the page layouts I did. I did them all in Project Life page protectors. And I used a variety of products. I used Project Life, I used Simple Story Say Cheese line, I used tons of stuff from my stash. So let's just see how this goes. Since it's so much stuff, I think I'm just going to break these up into several different chapters. And, well, chapters, segments, videos, whatever you want to call them. And then I will set up a playlist in YouTube so that if you're so inclined, you can follow them all. So this is the first scrapbook that I did. You know, it's an American Scrap Binder. And I just got an extra picture of my husband and I there in front of the castle, Cinderella's castle in the Magic Kingdom. And let's turn to our first page here. And, let's get this right. Alright, so started out, we took our vacation in the first week of December in 2013. So I've just got, you know, Oki Family Vacation, the year. This is a Simple Stories card here. And then I just, for the main page here, I just wanted a kind of a title page that showed that, you know, we went to Walt Disney World. So I just took one of the pictures I took, printed in Photoshop, split it into 4 segments, and then just had 4 4x6s printed. I did a border around the outside in white. As I go through my albums, you'll see that I did different borders for each day. So my planning and the first day we got there, we didn't really have tickets. I did in this white border. So you'll notice that as we go through. Now, I really wasn't good about putting information together about our planning. So after I got back, I went back and looked through my email account and a bunch of other things and just got some planning information down. Part of the things I wanted to document were how much it cost, where I did stuff, all of that. This was our first trip to Disney World, and I hope we go back again. So I wanted to just have some ideas of where I went and what I needed to do. So I've got lots of different items that came from the Project Mouse digital kits that are by Saline Studios and British Design. I printed a bunch of stuff, and I had a bunch of stuff printed for me that I took to the park. But so this is something that I just printed at home. This is another one of their items. And they've got some Project Life cards. And anyway, just some general planning information. Next step, over here, I have just I set up some touring plans, and we went right as they were testing the Magic Bands. So I had my Fast Pass Plus reservations for each of the days that we were going to be in the parks that I just wanted to have going up front. And then just our projected days we were going to be there and what the crowd levels were going to be. Now when we get to this page, I'm dealing with our countdown to the park. So the last 5 days before we left, I took a self photo or a photo of my husband every day with just the number of fingers out. So 4, 3, 2, 1, and then this is actually at the airport on the day we were leaving. Next photo here, this is day 1. I have a card like this at the beginning of every day. So I have it dated. It was actually November 30th, 2013. I have the time clock, a screenshot from my phone of the time we had to get up in order to get to the airport on time. So, woohoo, that was fun. 3 a.m., you know, the things we do for Disney, right? Then I just have some, you know, random stuff, you know, luggage, tickets, where our seats were on our flights, kind of, you know, how we went. So we took a car up to the airport, then we did diamond parking, did the flight itself, and then that final leg was on Magical Express, and just talked about a little bit about the way we got to the park. And this is a selfie that I took of my husband and I as we were on the Magical Express and starting our trip. And you can see I'm so excited, and my husband's just, he had a great time, but he does not like to smile in photos, and you will definitely see that as I go through these albums. So the next part is about our room. We stayed at Coronado Springs, so I did a title card using some thickers just for where we're at, a little bit about checking in, our room number, how we rated our hotel, and just a couple of pictures from the room itself, and just kind of the nice touches that Disney does when you stay on property. This is a map that they gave us at check-in from Coronado Springs, kind of showing us how we had to go to get to our room. And then I just backed that with something that was in the room that was Disney related. So the first night we got there, after we got checked in, we decided that since we were going at Christmas time, we were going to do a little bit of resort hopping and just see what some of the resorts look like. So the first place that we went was the Polynesian. I had done a lot of research beforehand about Disney food. I had the Disney food blog booklet that they put together, and so we did a lot of eating while we were there. We went to Captain Cook's in the Polynesian, and we had some pork nachos and a Dole Whip, so that's put here. And then a Christmas tree, of course, because it was our Christmas time. Yay! Okay, next we went over to the Grand Floridian. So there again, I have a title card, some pictures from the Grand Floridian, and we went ahead and bought the Disney Photo Pass while we were there, because I wanted to make sure that I got pictures of my husband and I together. This is one of those pictures. When we first got to the Grand Floridian, that is the first place we had an opportunity to get our photo pass. And so we did that and got our picture taken there. And then, of course, the gingerbread house that they do every year in the lobby of the Grand Floridian. From there, we went over to Port Orleans French Quarter. Had some Mickey beignets, took a few pictures here and there, and then we jumped over to downtown Disney from there just to walk through. I had been there before, but my husband hadn't, so I wanted to give him an idea of what was going on and what we could see there, and I knew it was going to be the only time we would really get to go there on our trip. We ate an Earl sandwich. There's a picture of our sandwich, and just some fun pictures that we took. I think that was in the Harley Davidson store, just with the hats. If you know my husband, this is totally not something he would ever wear. Totally not the type of cowboy hat I would wear either. I have plenty of cowboy hats growing up, trust me, but that would not be one of them. Okay, now we get to the first day in the park. You can see, as I was talking before, about the different borders around the picture. So all of our second day were a black border with a small gray stripe around them, and it just kind of helps segregate my book into different areas. So once again, I have the title card, the date, December 1st, just our pictures from the Photo Pass photographer, selfie at the bus stop, just some fun things. And just a little quick card about what we wanted to do that day and what we ended up doing. We got there really early, so we made our way back to New Fantasyland relatively quick. So I got this picture of me by a Gaston statue and no one around. There's one little stroller there, but that's it. I really like that we had that opportunity. Each day for each, we kind of went to a different park every day, so I grabbed the guide maps that they had, and I made sure that I put them in there as well. So the first day we're at the Magic Kingdom, so I've got that little map that I just cut in half so that it would fit in the page protector. And this was actually a full 12 by 12 page protector, and I just cut off the part that I didn't need. I actually forgot to put this in up front, so going back I hadn't left a space for it, so I just thought, well, this will work. So I put that in. I had an extra picture of Beast Castle, and then on the back I had an extra picture of Ariel and Eric's castle, and there was another one at Beast Castle. It's actually the same picture, I just had a different filter on it from Rad Lab, and then just a blank card there. So first ride we did, we ran back to Ariel's Undersea Adventure. So I have pictures of the outside, which I think is just gorgeous. They did such a good job on that area. And then pictures from the ride that I put together. When you see something like this, it's something that I did in Lightroom as I was getting all of my pictures together. I would just separate them into little sections. This was actually Project Mouse as well. I just put a little picture of that card in there. This was Project Mouse, and this was as well. And then I just put a little bit of journaling there about the little journey of the Little Mermaid ride. And this is Project Life. I think that's the Midnight Kit. One thing that I did, and you'll see sprinkled throughout the album, here's another one, is I cut a bunch of Mickey heads on my silhouette. And I used just a ton of paper. They're all throughout. So I have Mickey heads of all assorted sizes throughout. And then I also bought like an EK, I think it's EK Success Punch. And so there are little Mickey heads all scattered throughout too. So that's one of the ones that I cut on my silhouette. And that's just using some of my digital supplies for the pattern. All right, so now we get to some fun stuff. So we met Chip and Dale, got their autographs. Now these cards were part of the Project Mouse digital stuff, and I had a bunch of stuff printed at Persnickety Prints before we went down, and I just carried them with us so that when we saw a character or whatever, we could get autographs on the cards I already had pre-printed. You can see here that we took a little clipboard down, and we had one of those Sharpie pens that has the clicker on the end, and it worked wonderfully actually. So my husband has it ready here, and then we'd hand it to the characters, of course, and have them sign it. We felt a little odd, you know, being adults and getting pictures. And my husband felt more odd than me, but I wanted to do it. And, you know, since we had the photo pass, you know, we got our pictures like this were all included with that as well. That's actually the bag that I had that we carried all of this stuff around in, and we took turns packing that around. You get down here, we've got It's a Small World, and my husband has even a little bit of a smile there. Very rare, as I've said, just pictures from inside the ride. And then we have over here Splash Mountain. Once again, I've got a title card telling about what we're doing. I got the picture from the ride. You can see it wasn't very busy. We didn't have anybody else in our boat with us. Little zippity doo-dah, and then just talking about the ride. As soon as we came off of Splash Mountain, Jessie was signing autographs and meeting people. There was a short line, so we jumped in that line. This is just a quick picture I grabbed of her between her meeting other people, and I really liked the way that it turned out. So I did a 4x6 of it, and then I got the one from the PhotoPass photographer of my husband and I with Jessie. You know, this is another Project Mouse card. Project Mouse once again with Jessie. And then I've just, you know, used a few, got some rubber stamp, the silhouette cut out Mickey head, just a few little embellishments here and there. I didn't go super big on embellishments, but I wanted enough to, you know, just to have some fun. Over here, you can see I've got a different sized page protector, and this one was a different size page protector as well. And I just have to say, I didn't realize that they had these kind of page protectors that had the two portrait size or landscape, and then the two portraits on the same one. And as soon as I found that, I was in heaven. I had to go back and reorganize everything because I put pictures in just kind of where I thought they would go, and then as I was decorating and going through and adding the fillers in, I switched stuff around, and I had so many pictures that were both landscape and portrait for the same day. I was so struggling, and as soon as I found these page protectors, I bought a ton of them, and you'll see them throughout the album. I have a ton, but I also got some of these little short ones, which came in super handy for things that I didn't have a lot of pictures of and didn't want to devote a lot of time to. So this is Big Thunder Mountain. As you can see, just a couple of pictures and not much else on it. On the back, we've got the Haunted Mansion, one of my favorite rides at both Disneyland and Disney World. So I gave it a little bit more space than maybe some of the other rides. So we just got a picture of my husband as we're waiting in line. There's just some stuff in the line as well from the outside here. This picture up here was not very good because it was in the shade, and a couple that was standing in line took it for us. But I just played on how bad it was, and I put some Rad Lab filters on it that kind of made it look old and spooky, and thought, you know what, that seems appropriate for the Haunted Mansion, so I went with it. Some of these pictures down here, not the best, but you get an idea of what you can see in the Haunted Mansion. Some of these papers here were from Die Cuts with a View, a Halloween pack, and I thought, you know what, super appropriate for what I'm talking about, so I just went with it. That first day, we had our dinner. We had, lunch, I guess. We had advanced dining reservations at Liberty Tree Tavern, so I've got a little bit of a title card there. This is just waiting for our table to be set. They had a gingerbread Capitol building? I don't think that's the right word. It's Independence Hall, like it's in Pennsylvania. I knew I would catch what it was. They had a replica there in the waiting room, so made sure I got a picture of that. This is really old. It's just a wood gingerbread man. Thought it was totally appropriate. This is Project Mouse again. This was kind of Project Mouse. I got pictures of the menus where I could, so that I could kind of remember what we did. This is I actually got this, I took this down with us. I knew we had dining reservations at different places, so each night we would fill out cards that were appropriate. So I filled this out the night of, and just talking about, where we were, what we had, whether it was good or not. And I think that was a really good idea, because some of the stuff I just would not remember later. Pictures of our food, pictures of the ooey gooey toffee pudding, toffee cake, I guess it's called there. This is fabulous. If you ever go, this is totally worth going to Liberty Tree Tavern just for this. The pasta I had is like freedom pasta, not so much. This was worth it. Okay, over here, now we're to 4 6x6s on the page protector layout. So just talking about Pirates of the Caribbean up here, some pictures from the ride, a picture of Jack Sparrow at the end of the ride. And then this one didn't fit so much, but it was just Adventureland, just a random picture that my husband took of me while we were in the area. But it worked for the layout that I needed. Alright, so over here we've got Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, just a couple of pictures. I didn't have a lot there, and then we've got Stitch's Great Escape, and I didn't have a lot there either, so it worked really well on here. This is also from Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, and the Are You That Guy? If you've been there, you know what that means. So this kind of goes together. I kind of tried to make it appear that way with the color scheme, the reds and the yellows matching together, whereas these are completely different because they're of different things. These are both PhotoPass pictures in front of, from the side really, of Cinderella's castle, and these are from the punch that I told you that I had purchased. That's actually from the punch as well. Actually, it's right there, the punch there. Went over to Space Mountain after that. This is something that my husband filled out. This is about as much journaling as I get from him. So he signed his name and he circled how he liked it. Space Mountain is one of his favorite rides. So the two of us from the ride photos there. This is him waiting. And then over here we have Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin. I love this photo. You can see how intense that I look there in that photo. This is from the Simple Stories Say Cheese line, just as a filler. Here we have the Jungle Cruise, except for while we were there, it was the Jingle Cruise. And as soon as they changed the name to the Jingle Cruise, the lines just went through the roof. They were so long. So all they had really done, as you can see here, they had changed the names of the boats, and there were a few Christmas decorations in the line going up. Everything else appeared what I'm used to seeing in Disneyland. So I put the card here, totally not worth the wait, because it was such a long line. This card I had filled out that day saying that it was a letdown after we had waited so long. I needed a little bit more filler, so I went online and just got some of the wording from the tours that they take, and this says, here is Ginger our alligator, but keep your hands in the boat because Ginger snaps. And I thought that was appropriate because I had the alligators down there. These are both digital layouts that I had put together, and it's just I think it's a 5x7 page protector there, just for my title card for the Jungle Cruise here. And then on this side, these are all about the Celebrate a Dream Come True parade. And I didn't really have a lot I wanted to say about them, but I did want it noted what it was. So I've just got random pictures from the parade over here. This is the same picture, just with 3 different treatments in Rad Lab. I couldn't decide which one I liked, so I thought, you know what, why not throw them all in? Over here we've got the Tomorrowland Speedway, couple of pictures, they all fit together there. And then while we were there, they were building the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, so we took a couple of pictures of us around the walls that they had put up. And then I've just got the names of each of the 7 dwarfs here. And down here we have where we met Gaston. He was a hoot. He's so stuck on himself, but we had a lot of fun there. So I have his name, and then I have I think those are Queen and Company. Just a little bit of flair. I loved meeting him. He was my favorite character to meet just because of how funny he was. I've got a small little page over here just for the Casey Jr. train, and I didn't have a lot to say, so I just put the lyrics to Casey Jr. Song in the big speech bubble, and then I just put a little bit of journaling on the side. And then here we've got the Barnstormer pictures. And this is back in New Fantasyland as well. Over here, I've got a little bit more from the Barnstormer as we were in line. And then I've got pictures of my husband in front of some signs. This one was hilarious. My grandniece, actually, Pete, is one of her favorite characters. And that's pretty much the only place in all the park we could find him. I looked everywhere, and I looked for, stuffed animals or whatever, and I just couldn't find it. But I found that, so I made my husband pose. And then this picture here was just hilarious. There's the places where you put your hands and stuff, and I was trying to get my husband to pose really well, and he was just like, okay, he's such a good sport about stuff like that. Okay, so the first day we ended up going to the Very Merry Christmas Party. I bought tickets ahead of time to surprise my husband with it. So I've got our pass to get in, the special announcement that they had there, and then they had a ton of characters out. So we met Jeannie and Jasmine. We got their signatures, and there's our photo pass picture. A couple of pictures from the Once Upon a Christmas Time parade. My main camera had ran out of battery by this point, so all I had was my phone camera, so I had very few pictures that actually turned out well. This is another of the Project Mouse cards that I printed. On the back, we've got a few more pictures from that parade and just a little bit of journaling. And then over here, we've got some pictures of Cinderella's castle. We stopped at Sleepy Hollow and got the waffle with Nutella, strawberries and bananas. Delicious. Highly recommend it. So I had to get a picture of that. This is another one of those Mickey heads that I had cut out on my silhouette. Over here, the lines finally got decent for Peter Pan's ride. This actual picture was from a later day just because it was dark by this point, but I had forgot to take a picture. But I thought, you know what the heck, it's the only time we went on it. So I got a picture there for my title, and then just a few pictures here. And then this half is meeting Ariel, her signature, pictures from the PhotoPass people, and a little bit of journaling. On this side, I've got meeting Peter Pan and Wendy, and then I've got meeting, this kind of all goes with all of these things. So this is meeting Pooh and the bunch here, and then meeting Donald and Daisy and Scrooge McDuck. And then finally, this day we've got, at the very end, we're walking out of the park, and they had someone pulling people in to go meet Merida. As we're standing in line, I asked my husband if he would pretend like we're shooting a bow when we met her, and he's like, absolutely not. But as soon as we got up there, I asked her if we could do it, and she said sure, and so he joined right in. Like I said, he is a great sport. Time up that day, 7:30 in the morning. Time down, 12:02 a.m. the next day. We were tired, but we still filled out cards like this. And then over here, we both rated the day. Here's my husband, what he thought of it. I had my opinion as well. A little bit of journaling about finishing it out, and then some pictures. You can see the snow kind of falling that night. And yep, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope to see you soon in my other videos. Thank you.